There's outrage today over NFL star Harrison Butker's commencement speech, where he took aim at working women, gay rights, and much more.
The fact that the starting kicker of the Kansas City Chiefs is currently the most controversial man in football is insane to me. But of course we're going to talk about it on this channel. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications to help the channel grow. Now that we get all that out of the way, break! Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? I don't know what's in the air in these NFL stadiums. For some reason, if you play the game of football, you are just prone to saying some really controversial shit. As a matter of fact, I think 50% of the content on this channel has to do with something controversial that was said. And there's times that we don't even report on some of the controversial stuff that these players say. Just the other day, Aaron Rodgers mentioned how the United States government confiscated Pat Tillman's journal and used his death for war propaganda. No, seriously, watch.
My grandfather, though, I didn't get to know him that well, but I do know that he always questioned and believed that Roosevelt knew about the Japanese coming, and that always stuck with him because he was super patriotic. And another one of my heroes, Pat Tillman, who left the NFL to join the Army, his death is very suspicious as well, in that, not the fact we know that he was killed by friendly fire, but the way they handled his body afterwards, his uniform, confiscating his last journal, using his death to prop up the war propaganda. There's been a lot of great people in history who are super patriotic, who've questioned their government, and I think that's what I've done since I was a kid.
And pardon my ignorance, I didn't even know that about Tillman's journal. So that was confiscated by the...
His uniform was burned, and his journal was confiscated. That's in John Krakauer's book, Where Men Win Glory, which is a fantastic book. And one of my best friends in the entire world, AJ Hawk, AJ grew his hair out, him and his buddy, in 2004, as an ode to Pat. Because Pat always had long hair, played for the Cardinals, left a multi-million-dollar contract to go, fight Al Qaeda and Taliban. Gets over there and is like, "What the fuck am I doing? I'm guarding these poppy fields. It's not what I signed up for. I miss my wife. I miss being in the States. This is not what I thought we were going to be doing over here." And then some really negligent maneuvers happened and split up his unit, and he ended up being with one of the members of the Afghani army, who was their kind of guide. And a guy saw the guy in some dim lighting on the ridge who was with Pat. They fired on him. Obviously Pat and the Afghani thought that they were getting fired on by Taliban, so fired back, and ended up Pat got killed. His brother was not told right away that it was friendly fire. It's all in the book. It's a fascinating book. It's one of the only books I've ever cried reading, just because it's so. John's an incredible writer. He wrote Into Thin Air. He wrote Into the Wild. He wrote Under the Banner of Heaven.
I read those three. I never read the Tillman book.
Yeah, the Tillman book is incredible. But I don't know why I'm bringing this up. Just that there's so many people that really love this country that have gotten disenfranchised. I think that's part of it.
Who've been betrayed by their leaders.
Yeah.
At this point, we're kind of desensitized to Aaron Rodgers' Rodgerisms, whether it's showing his toenail on camera, or starting a war with Jimmy Kimmel for saying that he was on Epstein's list, or the fact that we all like to make fun of his ayahuasca trips and his darkness retreats. I personally appreciate the transparency of Aaron Rodgers, and I think he's a very unique individual, and the fact that he's willing to share who he is unapologetically is kind of cool to me. I also like the fact that the drama that he brings to the table makes for good content for us every once in a while, I might admit. Especially his last stunt with his Achilles tear. You know, how he said he was going to come back from a torn Achilles all season long, but never ended up doing it. But today's topic is way more than that. Today's topic is so controversial that half of the world is buying up this man's jerseys, and the other half of the world wants this guy kicked out of the NFL. Ironically, this man happens to be a kicker. He is is the starting kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, Harrison Butker. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, it's graduation season for a lot of people. If you guys peep my Instagram story, you may have noticed that my little brother just graduated from medical school. And just like my little brother, Harrison Butker just graduated from school as well. His school's a little different than medical school. Harrison Butker graduated from Benedictine College and was asked to speak at Benedictine College. Now, to set up the context of this speech, Benedictine College is a Catholic school. So obviously, they're going to bring speakers that adhere to Catholic values. And what he said in this speech drove people insane, or got people buying up his jerseys. It's either or. You either love this guy or you absolutely hate him because of what he said. Now, the whole speech in of itself is 20 minutes long, and I highly advise you go and take the time to sit through the 20-minute speech before drawing your own conclusions. But here's some of the parts of the speech that are really driving some people crazy. You see, Swifties posted this clip onto social media and reportedly called for Harrison Butker to be banned from the NFL like Colin Kaepernick, because this is misogynistic, homophobic, and transphobic. This is what the clip was of Harrison Butker.
Today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
There's two ways you could take this clip. The first way is, oh my God, he's telling all the women in this graduating class to get their asses back in the kitchen and throw their degrees in the trash. But the other way you can take it is he has such tremendous appreciation and gratitude for his wife holding things down at their home as he went out and kicked kicks for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, the man is literally choking on his tears as he is expressing his undying gratitude for his wife's sacrifice. And again, you have to take the context into consideration here. It's a liberal arts Catholic school, for crying out loud. My personal opinion is I don't think any human is the same. You were raised a specific way and you've had a specific life experience that makes certain things seem more appealing to you. I know many women that didn't go to college and decided to just be a homemaker from day one, and they're happy that way. I know many women that also said the homemaker life isn't for me and I just want to chase a degree, and they're happy doing that too. I know women that felt that way, chased the degree, and were miserable as a result of it and then became homemakers. I know homemakers that felt very empty after having kids and then decided to go back to college. And I know women that got their degrees, met a man, had a family, and it's 2024, bro. They run online businesses, or they do property management and manage assets from the home as they're taking care of the kids. You could do both. There isn't a right or wrong way, and I feel like society today is all these people trying to compete with each other with various ideologies, saying my way is better, no, my way is better. But at the end of the day, it seems like this man found a system for himself that worked, and it's traditional old-fashioned Catholic values. And it seems like he has so much appreciation for his wife's sacrifice. And I think that's what's important here. Now, I'm guessing one of these individuals that does their life a little different is none other than Mitchell Schwartz's wife. Mitchell Schwartz was a former offensive lineman of the Kansas City Chiefs, won a Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs, unfortunately got injured by the time they made it to their second Super Bowl in the Mahomes era. But obviously, Mitchell Schwartz shared a hotel locker room with Harrison Butker. And this is what she had to say about it. I'm going to sound controversial since Mitch was teammates with him for many years. I've stayed quiet about a lot of things, but this is absolutely so gross and backwards to me. All my success is made possible, etc., because my wife embraced the most important title of all, homemaker. This is what we're telling young women graduating college? That's the most important thing they can become, is a homemaker? What in the Handmaid's Tale is this crap? Harrison Butker tells graduating women that they have been diabolically lied to by focusing on getting promotions and titles in the workplace, and instead should be leaning into their vocation of being a homemaker. And telling young women on their college graduation day, after years of hard work, that the thing they probably most look forward to in life is becoming someone's wife. I beg your pardon? I value and respect whatever a woman chooses for her life, but it is never, ever a man's place to tell women what their roles are. Now, again, I don't think Harrison Butker kicked in the door one day and said, "Listen, bitch, you better get into the kitchen and make me a sandwich, otherwise you're out of here." I think these two had a discussion about what roles they should place in their household in order to have the most success. And it looks like Harrison Butker's very appreciative of his wife for the role that she played. Again, man, you could have a completely different take, and you could raise your kids completely differently. Your household could be raised completely differently. Unless Harrison Butker's wife comes out and says, "My life is miserable, please save me," I don't think it's fair to say this type of stuff. Now, the response to this is the official Kansas City Twitter account has doxed Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker after expressing his Christian beliefs publicly. The Attorney General clapped back at this, saying that he will be taking action against the Kansas City Twitter account for doxing Harrison Butker, saying, "I will enforce the Missouri Human Rights Act to ensure Missourians are not targeted for their free exercise of religion." But my favorite part about this, and it's mainly the responses this one clip is getting, is when Harrison Butker gets up there and gives his masculinity speech. And here's what it is.
It is only in the past few years that I have grown in courage to speak more boldly and directly, because as I mentioned earlier, I have leaned into my vocation as a husband and father, and as a man. To the gentleman here today, part of what plagues our society is this lie that has been told to you that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities. As men, we set the tone of the culture, and when that is absent, disorder, dysfunction, and chaos set in. This absence of men in the home is what plays a large role in the violence we see all around the nation. Other countries do not have nearly the same absentee father rates as we find here in the US, and a correlation could be made in their drastically lower violence rates as well. Be unapologetic in your masculinity, fighting against the cultural emasculation of men. Do hard things. Never settle for what is easy. You might have a talent that you don't necessarily enjoy, but if it glorifies God, maybe you should lean into that over something that you might think suits you better. I speak from experience as an introvert who now finds myself as an amateur public speaker and an entrepreneur, something I never thought I'd be when I received my industrial engineering degree. The road ahead is bright. Things are changing, society is shifting, and people, young and old, are embracing tradition. Not only has it been my vocation that has helped me and those closest to me, but not surprising to many of you, should be my outspoken embrace of the traditional Latin Mass. I've been very vocal in my love and devotion to the TLM and its necessity for our lives. But what I think gets misunderstood is that people who attend the TLM do so out of pride or preference. I can speak to my own experience, but for most people I have come across within these communities, this simply is not true. I do not attend the TLM because I think I am better than others, or for the smells and bells, or even for the love of Latin. I attend the TLM because I believe, just as the God of the Old Testament was pretty particular in how he wanted to be worshiped, the same holds true for us today. It is through the TLM that I encountered order and began to pursue it in my own life.
And the reaction to this tweet is hysterical because a lot of people are saying, "Bro, you're just a kicker." A kicker is pretty much the most emasculated football position though. And I personally get really annoyed when people start disrespecting kickers because kickers are expected to be Mr. Automatic 24/7 every single time they line up to take a kick. And the one time they miss a kick, we're all trying to tell them to get fired. But this man has carved out a career for himself where he's literally earned almost $20 million, has won multiple Super Bowls after being a 7th round draft pick for the Kansas City Chiefs. You know how hard it is to be a kicker in the NFL for the duration that he's been a kicker in the NFL? It's one of the most mentally challenging positions in the NFL. It's literally just a game of you versus your nerves, you versus your confidence. And Harrison Butker is as automatic as it gets. Well, maybe except for Justin Tucker. But this man has made $18 million in the NFL. He's up for a new contract in 2025. I expect him to get it. And he's been able to do that based upon this lifestyle he's cultivated for himself. Good for him. For all the people that are so upset about him giving this speech, you have to remember this is a liberal arts Catholic school. This isn't like UCLA or Columbia where they're okay with students and outsiders getting together to support a Middle Eastern terrorist group against Israel. This is a Catholic school. At the end of the day, he's preaching to his demographic and his audience, and obviously this went way more viral than they thought it would. The YouTube channel that posted this speech has like 4,000 subscribers. I really highly doubt that they thought Harrison Butker was going to go so viral for his speech to his Catholic school. But obviously I expect the comment section to be a gigantic war zone, so if you have a different take, respectfully let me know in the comment section down below. I personally don't think you could have a right or a wrong lifestyle. Whatever works for you, bro. At the end of the day, if you're happy, good for you. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.